I love you. Now, some of you may feel good about that. Some maybe feel a little weird when you hear that. And we'll get back to that in a minute. But first, I want to start with a little exercise together. If everybody could just, in a minute, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. I'm going to take you through a little breathing, connecting exercise. And what we're going to do, the first breath, you're going to pull up the energy from your root chakra all the way up through your entire system, through the crown. And you're going to connect to your mighty I Am presence. For those of you who don't know what that is, the I Am presence is basically an energy body and antenna for the soul connecting to Source or God, whatever your higher power is. The second breath I'll lead you in that, but the second breath will connect to our mighty I Am presence, and then we're going to connect to Source, Creator, God of all there is. And then the third breath, we're going to do the same thing, connecting each time to them, but then we're going to connect to each other, to all of our mighty I Am presence. And during that time, once we get connected, and I'll be leading it, then just breathe on your own however you want for a minute, and just feel into it with the intention, if you would. All right? So, if you could, please, just where you're seated, close your eyes. Get your air out. Deep breath from the root chakra all the way up. Connect to your mighty I Am presence. Big antenna body, unbelievably tall, through the roof out into the beyond. Breath out, back down. Hold for a sec, the root chakra, pull it back up through there. All the way up to the mighty I Am presence. Now to Source. Feel that presence. Exhale. Back down. Still connected. From the root chakra up. Third breath. Connecting to the presence, to Source of all there is. And now, with your intention to each other, with all of your mighty I Am presence. Feel that energy in every part of this room, your energy that's every part of it. We're all connected. Breathe as you want now. Just hold that feeling. Okay. Please come back. So the feeling here is obviously been a feeling of love in the room. We all love ourselves. We love each other. We just connected all that to a deeper level. Hence, I love you. Okay, I'm Paul David RENKER. I grew up a normal childhood, I would assume, playing sports, doing whatever. I'm always very positive, felt that I can do anything anybody else can do. If, my cousin's a dentist, I can be a dentist if I want. Always worked numerous jobs at the same time. As a kid, to make money, we didn't have a lot to be able to afford to do things. So I was always out there getting it done, very positive, which led to a great career in real estate. In my real estate career, new homes specifically, I was a salesperson, and it was a tough time, but I was award-winning in the industry as well as within the company, and had a very good run for quite a few years, provided a good life for my family, and at the same time I started moving up the ladder. When I took over managing the sales team, which there was only about 6 or 7 at the time, we were about 160 homes a year, 170. We grew the team and I, to over 1,000 homes a year. The team was winning all kinds of awards. Everybody's fat and happy. We're enjoying life. And I don't say that to brag, just to kind of set the picture there. I'm very proud to be able to have led that team and been a part of it, because as we all know, it takes a team. 2008 comes. That's the mortgage meltdown. And if you're in the new home industry, that was a depression. The area where we were in Northern California went from 95,000 homes a year to about 4,000. So that gives you an idea what happened in the marketplace. Being the leader, I had to let numerous people go, which was very difficult. And then once you do all that, a couple years in, it was my time to go. I was released of my duties. That happens in corporate America. Within the same year, my marriage of 23 years ended. And with that, quite a bit of wealth that I'd accumulated over the years was gone. Pretty much gone in that time period. It's what I call massive loss. But no problem. That's okay. Because I know how to make money. I know how to sell. I can do this and that, and it won't be a problem. Because I'm unbelievable. How you doing? Unbelievable. That was always the tone that I would set. And that was a great line in sales and to motivate the team, because however you were, if you said unbelievable, it worked. It wasn't lying, because it could go either way. So for the next year and a half, 2 years, as I'm basically not wanting to go to work for a corporate, I'd been very fortunate that I'd had a spiritual awakening going on for the past 4 or 5 years, 6 years into this. And in the process of it, I thought I was doing great. Somebody'd say, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm unbelievable. I'm doing good." And I realized after a couple years, I'm just treading water. I'm surviving. I mean, I'm still making money, but I'm not thriving. I was thriving. I was in the zone, before. I was mentoring, coaching people at work, and training and managing. And you get in the zone with all that excitement and that atmosphere. Well, in that, I'd still been using the unbelievable for the past 2 years. But all of a sudden, I realized I was treading water. And any of you who know, all of us probably know, that if you're treading water and you're surviving, you're stuck. You're not thriving, you're stuck. So when I realized this, it was a reality check. And the way I found it was through this spirituality that I had been pursuing. And you know how God works in miracles. This one process comes over that's kind of like a recapitulation and pattern. Another process of something I read. I went to an event or something, and all of a sudden, I go through this process of all 3 of these things, And I realized these patterns in my life that made me aware that I'm stuck. And that life isn't the way I thought it was. I'm not now Mr. Positive the way I thought I was. And I don't understand why, so I dig deeper and deeper and deeper in there. And in doing this, I realize that I've flipped. I'm seeing the world through a different lens. You ever go to the eye doctor, is this lens good? Is this lens, they do the eye test? Well, the lens I was now looking through was not my normal lens I'd lived most of my life through at that point. It was a different lens, and I didn't understand why. Was I not able to do what I used to do like that? Natural. And natural means hard work and being prepared and seeking to understand. Because I was a natural at sales, but it was because I cared what people, why did they make that decision to buy? Why did they make a decision to go somewhere else? What is going on in their thought process? So now I'm trying to figure out what's going on in my thought process with that lens that changed. In going deep into it, I realize my normal childhood was filled with massive amounts of criticism and verbal/physical abuse. And unfortunately, it comes from the people we love. And so when you dig down, I was feeling unworthy. That feeling of unworthiness I didn't have before because my ego was running really hard and fast, masking that. So that pops up after I have this stressful event, massive loss. Okay, well, I want the old me back. I want peace and harmony. I don't need the ego. Anybody who's on a spiritual journey knows that first thing you got to do is kick the ego aside or release it. And I want the true you, the true me out. So lots of work, going to different coaches, mentoring programs, and figuring out about beliefs. Tracking those beliefs and figuring out which ones are the limiting beliefs, which ones do I true, which ones are from programming from the past, from my grandfather's grandfather, and wherever else, because that's where the program comes from. In doing that, I want the truth. I don't want it to be muddled. I want the truth so that I can be my true self. I can be my authentic self and know that everything I come from, every decision I make is because I know what's going on and I do that. I've got congruency, mind, body, soul, and emotions. Of course, I came from a family that stuffed emotions. So during this time when I felt anger, that doesn't do anything for you. All that does is keep you from thinking. So now I've got to learn feelings and emotions that weren't modeled for me, which fortunately I was in a relationship at the time with a person who had a master's in psychology that loved to use it. And so careful what you ask for about feelings and emotions, because the communication was off the charts and I learned feelings and emotions. But thank God I did, because you can't heal without emotions. When you track, you find the limiting belief. First you have to have the awareness. You find the limiting belief. You track it to its root. You understand why you're feeling that, where it's at. You release it. Now you got to rewire. You got to rewire, because you've just taken out a lot of your childhood, a lot of your growth. You have to rewire that back in, but you have to do it in the beliefs that you choose. You choose the true you, and rewiring those. So, doing that, now the next piece is you have to have your vision. You have to have what you want of a place. You're going to create it the way you want it to go where? For what result? And so a lot of work to get to that point. And the point is like you've heard all day, is you have to do the work. It just doesn't happen. You can't just say, oh, I released that limiting belief, or I got rid of that one. As soon as you get rid of one, here comes another. It's like dominoes. But it's very liberating. It's very, very freeing. So it was incredible. At this time, I go through this process. I'm like, thank you, God. I have a dream, and this is no regular dream. It's like a vision, like I'm there. I'm sure everybody's had those. I don't normally dream in color, but I see a figure moving. As I come up to it, all of a sudden in front of me, I see the spotted blue gecko on a giant granite boulder. And as I looked, it's got indigenous symbols. It's got the infinity. It's like really cool looking. And then I see the thing move again, and I go there, and it's a guy with a gold fez hat and a multicolored vest. And as soon as he sees me, he runs and hides, right? And I don't know what it all means. And then I wake up, I write it all down, and I look it up. I feel into it, and the spotted blue gecko is for truth, clarity, transformation, and there's more. I don't remember it all exactly, but it really touched and then when I felt into it, it was basically God speaking to me to share the information and the process that I went through to help others to be able to thrive in life and not have incongruencies. Because, when you want to act a certain way or do things a certain way, but your thinking is different, you don't even realize it. Because how are you going to fix the way you're thinking with the way you're thinking? Doesn't work. Einstein says it way better than that, but it just doesn't work. So I feel very blessed to have gone through the process that I went through. I have fine-tuned it and coached and mentored people with this process, and it's been very helpful. And if for any of you, if you have had any massive loss, you've been in a pattern where the same thing keeps happening and you don't want it to happen and you don't know why, or if you also just don't feel that you've been able to, there's something different in there that you want to be, but it hasn't been able to come out. That's what I do with Spotted Blue Gecko training. So if I can help any of you, I'd love to. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.